Welcome back in, Gearheads, to another EP of GEARHAULICS, where the only thing that really matters about getting out into the backcountry is using our gear, right? No, not at all. It's about getting out there and seeing the scenery. But I think a close second is going to be the gear that we use. Check out the roundup that I got with me tonight. You got Fireball right here. We've got Mateo from Z-Packs. I mean Matt from Lead Me Outdoors. First ever. Welcome to the podcast, Matt. And then we've got Jared, aka Snackbox from Outside Comfort Zone, and Jason, aka Huck from Huck Outdoors. Welcome in, fellas. How we feeling tonight? How we doing? Feeling relaxed?
Good. Doing great.
Good. I know Huck's feeling relaxed. He's got a special drink going on tonight, but yeah, there it is. All right.
All right. So
yeah, we got a really good one tonight. It's one that I actually just kind of thought of, and everybody was like, cool, let's roll with it. And it's going to be all about the gear that we personally wouldn't pick up or buy ourselves. However, if we were to get it gifted to us, or if we were to get like an insane discount or something, if we were to get like our hands on it for free, we would actually use, right? So I think a lot of times we look at stuff and we go like, all right, it's definitely something I'm going to buy, I'm going to use, and I'm going to go out there with. And then it's other stuff where it's like, I'm never going to buy that. I'm never going to go out there and use these guys at all. But this one's kind of like in between, right? It's kind of like, well, either I have something else and it doesn't really fit my kit right now, but you know, if the circumstances were different, I would actually pick that up. So usual style here, guys. I got about 3 rounds in me myself, but let's see what we can kick up here. I'm gonna hand the reins over to our newbie here in the group with Matt here. What do you got for your first one? Gear that you personally wouldn't use, but if you got your hands on it, you would actually use it out in the field.
It'd be any of the. I thought about this a little bit. It'd be any of the Z-Packs tri-tents. I personally would never buy those, but you know, they have a ton of space. I use Z-Packs tents quite a bit. I love them. And I think it would be quite useful if it was gifted to me due to the cost. I mean, they're quite expensive, but you know, I got 2 dogs, and one of them's pretty young. I got a dog that's 14 or going to be 14, and he's probably going to pass on pretty soon in the next couple of years. So my plan is to go backpacking with Millie, and it would be nice to have that space. You know, I got a duplex, but I don't know if the duplex would be big enough for the both of us. So it'd be nice to have a triplex, but I would never spend my own money on that thing.
Yeah, what are they, like 800, 900 bucks?
I don't know, but it's I purchased an Altaplex, a duplex. I have the what is it? Oh my gosh,
offset. I'm jealous. The offset.
Yeah. I have the offset solo now, so I like their tents, and I love their tents actually, but for the cost of the triplex, I don't see myself using it enough, I guess, to justify the cost.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially with the. I mean, you can get it in freestanding mode too, right? If you get the poles with it as well, which adds even more cost, especially with dogs too. I can totally
that's the
hear where you're coming from with that. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Rip a hole in it or something, man. It's a little sketchy, but I mean, when it comes to water protection, wind protection, I really do enjoy the DCF tents. The way you don't have to get out at night and readjust and tighten them up. I mean, they stay tight pretty much all night long. So yeah, I do love that.
It's an excellent material for sure. All right, great first one there, Matt. Snackbox, what do you got for yours?
Well, you know, it's kind of perfect that I'm following Matt here, because I was actually going to say any Dyneema Z-Packs tent, because they have to be incredible, right? They're just to all the stuff that Matt was describing there. You know, we've talked about this ad nauseum between Huck and Huck and I are on the same page where we, you know, all the stuff Matt described is completely accurate. I would love to have one, but I can't justify it when I can get a really great 6 Moon or the Gossamer Gear tent for half the price and use the difference for a plane ticket to go somewhere and use it, you know? So I think anything DCF sounds awesome. I can't find the sort of to go buy one, you know.
Normally, I'd say like I'd say like at normal MSRP, yes. But if you're looking for slightly used, you can hunt around and get some decent deals around the internets. So
Right, but to your point, you do that with 6 Moon, and you're even less
true.
expensive. Then you're
Oh
like
yeah,
you're even lower.
that's
Um,
true.
but I mean, one of the things I like about this, just as a note here for a second, one of the things I like about this topic is everything we're going to talk about is stuff that we like, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing on this list that we're. I mean, maybe not for Huck. Maybe Huck just wants to have something given to him
It's
for
like I
free,
got
so he
something
can throw it
good here.
off a mountain, you know. But all this stuff is stuff. All the stuff I've got are items that I would love to have, but I'm not going to spend the money on it, you know.
Yeah. I think for most of us, it's going to be like those wish list items or those like really nice to haves. But that's a good one there. I don't think you're going to get a lot of blowback on too many people on that one. DCF, I would agree with you, is massively overblown and definitely costs an arm and a leg.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's cost arm and a leg, but I don't think it's overblown. I mean, once you get one and once you use one, you'll realize right away. I'm not trying to be like the DCF pusher here, but I swear it's super nice, man.
It is nice.
It just costs a ton of money, and I totally understand that. I really do.
Yep. And I think, you know, as long as you take care of it, I do think that you can get a decent amount of mileage out of it as well. So definitely some pros for it as well.
You know,
All right.
just to go back on that though, I've seen a lot of videos like outdoor adventures where there seems like a lot of materials and stuff like even from Z packs are failing quite a bit this year. I don't know. I've seen two different people that's happened to. So packs are kind of falling apart halfway through the hikes. There's two hikers I watched that one did Appalachian Trail, then Frozen. Who's doing the PCT? His buddy Bigfoot's pack started falling apart, so they had to send out a loaner pack. So I don't know what's going on there.
The zippers on his was it Plex Solo failed too. I think both of them failed. He had to do a patch out there. So I've heard some things about the zippers from Z packs that are not as favorable in the long run, but and then, you know, like I have an arc haul too, and I've noticed that, you know, the frame kind of pops out on that one. And I actually talked with the owner, and he mentioned something similar too, that was like the biggest pain point for them to try and get to work properly. But good stuff there. Huck, what do you got for your first item?
It is a 4-season tent. It is the one that I've seen a lot of people talk about. It's a Samaya 2.0. It's a DCF 4-season tent. It's over $1,000. It's like $1,200, something like that. But man, I don't do enough 4-season camping to actually warrant something like that, but it would sure be nice. I was just hold it up, trying to find the specs on it quick. And was it weigh like the trail weight, the packed weight, 3 pounds, 5 ounces for a 2-person 4-season DCF tent.
I only heard about that on Darwin's channel. I think
Darwin,
he tried
Justin,
it. And it's like
nice.
There's no vestibule, right? Like it's I think it's like a doggy door too, right? And just like the front entry. So
I just don't do enough 4-season camping for that. Like Matt's got a tarp tent that would probably, heck, that'd be nice too. But yeah, the Samaya 2.0 DCF 4-season tent.
Yeah, that's a tough. It seems too, from what I've seen on those channels, that it seems more geared towards like mountaineering or something like that, a little bit more rugged terrain or higher elevation. Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard to justify that kind of price point for a 4-season tent. It's kind of crazy. All right, good stuff. I'll round out round one here. First one I'm going to put on here, it might be Huck and Matt might be looking at me like side eye on this one right here. All in Nightcore products. I think I'm going to like all of my categories here. I think it's basically like everything within the umbrella of these companies here too. He always has it on standby, like right there with him. I feel like it's part of your EDC carry that Huck just like has it in his pocket and he carries around with him. I don't know. This is one of the things, and another one on my list here, kind of a similar point here, is just like I kind of view some companies as just like they're charging extra for things that doesn't necessarily move the advancement of whatever they're creating, right? Sort of like the Apple Android type of thing, where like when they first came out. We don't have to bleep that one out. We can keep that one in there. I just had a lovely comment on my channel about that one too. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of these guys, just like it just seems like they're charging extra because they can, or they have the name power or the marketing power. You can make an argument a little bit for like the power banks here, I think, for Nightcore, as far as like reliability and everything goes for it, compared to like knockoff or no name brands. But yeah, I mean, to save the extra like half an ounce or ounce or so to charge like 2x or more for it, I just, it's hard for me to get behind. I've heard great things about the NU25, the headlamp and everything too. Nothing really against the overall quality of the build of it. It's just, I find myself, it's like hard for me to like spend that kind of cash on those types of products. No arguments. Perfect. All right, we'll slide right. We're gonna slide right over.
You're just missing out. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again,
Hawk and I are both like, he doesn't know any better.
Slide it into my stocking at Christmas. I would not be, would not hate you for it. All right, good stuff. Let's slide on over to round two. Matt, you got another one?
Yeah, I was thinking. I've heard a lot about this company. A lot of great things about this company. But I just could not bring myself to spend money on any of their products because I use Enlighten equipment for all my quilts. I have another quilt, a 40-degree quilt that I use, but that's not Enlighten equipment. But Western Mountaineering. I don't think I could bring myself to buying any of their products. But if someone wanted to give me one,
Oh yeah.
you guys, just kidding. I would definitely use one, but I don't know.
I know you well enough for that one.
All right. But that's really, I mean, I've heard great things about their stuff, but I just can't jump on board with the hype, I guess.
Yeah. They've been on my list for years too, and it'd be nice.
Okay, Mr. Cedar Ridge. All right.
Yeah.
Huck's got the unicorn.
He's an EE guy now too, though.
Yeah, I do have my 10-degree EE.
Yeah,
I did not know that. Cool.
Yeah,
I did too. I kind of sold out. I was big on UGQ for a minute there, and then I saw their prices go up, and I was like, I want to support Cottage, but it's starting to get a little expensive. So it's hard. I mean, that's another argument for almost anything that you can think of, right? Like titanium products, anything. Like if another country is undercutting them by like half the cost, or somebody else is doing it better, even though they're a bigger operation, you don't necessarily feel like you want to throw money their way, but all the time. But it's hard to beat sometimes when you're on a budget. You got the dogs barking.
I think your dog wants it too.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Snackbox, you're up next.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but in terms of those sort of higher end sleeping bags and stuff, we'll talk about this toward the end. But I have a lot of great reasons to send people toward Feathered Friends. So I'll tell you a little bit about how cool they've been with me the last 2 months or so, and some real exciting stuff. So if you don't have Feathered Friends products, you should. They're pretty dynamite, great company, small, very much a competitor with Western Mountaineering, right? Yeah. For me though, I think the next one, this is actually more of a YouTuber kind of thing, but I think you guys will appreciate it. It's that the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that just came out. And it's got the screen that sort of swivels, and it is it looks like a great camera, but it is twice as much as the DJI Pocket 2, and really defeats the purpose of having a sort of a budget-friendly 4K pocket camera. So looks awesome. My wife uses the Pocket 2, and it's an incredible camera. It gets great footage and really good sound. But I mean, for $500-600 for a camera like that, I'm really likely to break it anyway. So it's going to have to be a gift. So yeah.
They make some great products all around.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think that one there's a depth of field with it on the 3, right? Where they get more of a depth of field.
Yeah. And for those of you who, if you're not a YouTuber, the depth of field is basically when you have the person in focus and things behind them blurry. And it really gives it that like real nice cinematic look. It's but it's very hard to get on. Like you can't get it on I use a GoPro 9 and you can't get it on that. You really need like a mirrorless or DSLR camera to be able to get it typically.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that on the Pocket 3 is pretty. That's
awesome.
Pretty dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're doing with these like pocket cameras nowadays. And I have the 9 too, Snackbox. And I think nowadays with where the tech is going, I don't think I would get, if I were to get another one, I wouldn't go below like 5K, I think at this point. Not because anybody's really, playing it back in that, but because in post you can kind of punch in a little bit further without any of that degradation of quality, depending on how you upload. We're getting really geeky and really nerdy on the specs on that one. I know Matt and Huck here are both super techie on their camera gear and what they bring out there. But that's a good one. All right, Huck, you're up next.
So I sort of was talking earlier or made a comment about Durston, but they make great products all around.
Wow.
Everybody I know that has one of their products seems to really like it. And I'd probably say one of their backpacks, like the Kakwa 40?
Kakwa,
yeah. That would have their backpacks. That'd be the one. If somebody gifted it to me, I would probably use it. But
so what about the X-Men though? No on the X-Men, yes on the pack?
Yeah, yes on the packs, no on the X-Men. But
all right.
All around, everybody seems to be happy with their stuff. I might joke around from time to time, but it seems that Dan has got a good following going on. Their products hold up pretty good for the most part, and he actually stands by their product like 110%. There's an issue, you message him, he's the one responding. Dan's actually the one responding back. You don't get that type of customer service with other companies out there.
Right. True. I think he's the one who responds on a lot of the YouTube stuff as well.
Yeah.
So nothing against Dan, nothing against the gear or the quality or anything. It's just, I think more so now I have an issue with the cult following that kind of goes along with those tents.
I was holding my tongue a little bit, but Dave said it, man. That's my problem too.
I'm putting it out there.
That has ruined it for me.
Yeah. And it's really kind of, it's unfortunately like kind of giving them a bad name, like unfairly, right? This like kind of like Reddit post that you can go down with these followers is just kind of nuts. But that's a good one. I'm kind of shocked to hear you say that one for sure. But
I was going to say a Nero, but actually don't want one of the Neros.
Okay. Yeah, you don't seem like the UL backpack kind of dude. So. Okay, cool. To round out round 2 here, next one I'm going to put in here is going to be all of Flextail's products here. They've been exploding a little bit lately too. And again, I don't really have anything against them. I've just always kind of gone in a different direction. I think the first thing that I heard about was the Tiny Pump, right? Everybody was talking about them for a while there. I did some research, found the Giga Pump was like $4 or $5 cheaper. So I just went with the cheaper option that works exactly the same, weighs the same. And then they started to branch out. So they got a pillow now. They even have a pad now that's pretty cheap, has an ASTM rating of like 5 or something. And it's only a little bit over $100. I mean, okay option. They have a bug repeller as well. A couple of different bug repellent options. I decided to go with the Thermacell, which is a little bit better for me. So just like near misses there, something like, or like the Tiny Pump too. Like I would never spend money on that. But again, slip it into the stocking at Christmas, I would definitely give it a run. But just personally, like couldn't spend my own money on it. So yeah, Flextail is going to be my second item there. Any thoughts on that one? Wow, not a lot of arguments.
I love it. What exactly don't you like about Flextail? Is it the cost? Is it the product itself? Or
it's different things. So like for the Zero pump, like $40-$50 for that pump, especially when you normally just get a pump sack for free. And for me personally, it's not that much extra work, especially if I'm going UL for the pump. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. The pad, I would actually give the pad a run. And would actually try it. I just don't need that style of pad. I ended up getting my pads right now. So I really don't need to have that kind of pad. And then the bug repellent, I wanted to go with the gas canister like you guys have. You have the Thermacell and it uses the Isopro gas. So that one's battery operated. And I just didn't want to bring out something like that. So just near misses.
I was given the Flextail mosquito repellent from a good friend of mine. He's sitting right below me. So but I can't say either way. Like about their products. I mean, I use a couple of their products, but nothing like really stands out as amazing. But I do enjoy using them. I just started using that pot for a couple trips now, and the pot seems like a decent in comparison to the weight of the jet boil. You kind of get the same features, but a lighter weight. So,
do they have a pot? I didn't even know they made a pot.
I think you're thinking of fire maple.
Fire maple.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Same thing.
Starts with an F too, but wrong one. I was like frantically looking that up. I'm like, did I miss something here?
I saw Dave's face. Like I started doing that. I was like, I'm probably saying the wrong brand.
F outdoors.
All right. Yeah, it seems like similar sentiments there. Matt, you got another one in you here for round 3?
Yeah, I do. And I've seen this one in use, and this definitely is not a UL product at all, but it's the MSR Windburner. I would never, ever fork up the money to pay for that thing, but it looks like an amazing tool to use. I've seen Huck use it. Huck got a great deal on the flea
I never
market
paid
with
full
it.
price for it.
Yeah, he got a great deal on it. So, I've seen it used, but I mean, the price of that thing is very high. Very, very high.
Yeah.
But if someone gifted one to me, I definitely would use it on certain trips, especially out in the desert in the winter when it gets cold or
super windy. Yeah,
$190 now.
190.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
Jared's like, I can get that. I can get so many trips out of that.
I just take tortillas instead, right?
Yeah, that's nuts. That is really nuts.
Yeah, they're pretty bulky too.
Yeah, they're totally free at REI if you run faster than their staff, though.
Stop giving away the tricks of the trade there, Snackbox.
right.
Yeah, that one I would agree with you on that one, Matt. It's super expensive for what it is. I think they're definitely using a different heating technology, I think, for that one as well, right? Than the traditional flame on it. So a little bit different tech there. I think, was it Devin who did a podcast interview with a rep from them? So some super cool like tech from those guys and what they're doing over there. I think they're also one of the few ones made in America, if I'm not mistaken. So some really good like innovation and tech kind of coming from them. But I would agree on that one. That one's a little too hefty.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Huck helped me out though one time. I brought the those little Esbit stove with me one time. We did a little hike, and I was trying to light it up, and a storm was coming, and it kept blowing out. So Huck was able to boil some water with me with his windburner.
Oh yeah, forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Nice one. All right, Jared, you're up.
Yeah, this is not a specific product, but it's a category. And Dave, you're gonna be pissed, but any GPS watch.
Oh wow!
So any GPS watch, yeah.
Interesting.
I just can't. I mean, they seem great, but I also feel like I could pay a lot less money to be less frustrated as well. So, but they seem really cool. I'd love to know how to use them, but I can't imagine ever having the patience to be able to figure one out.
Yeah, it really depends on what your use case is. I will say that was a gift from my lovely wife. Thank you very much. So I didn't end up spending money on that one, but it worked out perfectly. It really depends on if you want to track metrics, I would say, more so than anything else. Like, you don't really need it, obviously, for GPS. I do like the feature where you can connect it if you have another Garmin satellite device and punch out an SOS if something drastic happens or whatever from your watch. That's a cool feature as well. So it does have cool features, but yeah, is it super necessary? Not really. Huck and I were measuring our heart rates when we were out on our last trip and kind of seeing who could win that race.
My heart rate's through the roof, however. It has never came back down after my blood clots. It's still up there high.
Yeah, I agree. Not super necessary on that one. All right. If nobody's got anything else on that one, we'll slide on over to Huck for your last pick.
Yeah, oh man, my last pick. Okay, well,
we could do some honorable mentions, but
somebody just gifting me good whiskey for the trail, so I don't have to buy it. So I'm talking about good whiskey, like
is that a
Stag? Stag, Weller's. I don't know, even Eagle Rare.
You got a list over there next to you?
I'm just looking at some of the ones I've bought. I've got them next to me over here. Yeah, I like some of the better whiskey, and I've got this one right here, right next to me, which is my standard in Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is my standard when I'm out on the trail. But yeah, somebody wants to gift some Stag, Wellers, Eagle Rare, some of the higher price ones, I'm all for it.
We'll see what happens at Christmas, Huck.
Yes.
Nighttime nightcaps. There you go.
Yes.
Hey, I'm a whiskey guy, so
Yeah.
I like it.
I feel like you should, Matt. You should give him the biggest bottle of early times you can find. You know,
Oh,
It's
early
like, I spent a
times.
lot of money on it. It
Man.
was expensive.
Let's give him a
It's gonna
gallon
cost-
of early times.
Right. It's going to
Oh,
cost
boy.
you big. It'll cost you your friendship, right?
Oh man. Well, I'm sharing it. So
And then I get
just have to
offended if he
drink it
doesn't drink it.
Yeah.
I will say too here, like some of the best notes that I've had about anybody that I've gone out with, including these two guys here and Snackbox too, except for his snacks, I would say is that they mostly end up sharing a lot of their stuff too. So I'd say that's a really cool aspect of going out there is just kind of checking out what other people have. Cool. All right, I'm going to round it out here. I think we have enough time. We're still doing okay on time. If we want to throw in any like last minute additions, it's kind of like a late round flyer there, but I'll round it out on round 3 here. I'm going to say Jetboil with an asterisk at the end, and that's because I do actually own something. I am cheating a little bit, and I did spend money on this. However, the reason why I put an asterisk next to it is because if I knew what I knew now, right, or I forget how that saying goes, like if I knew then what I know now kind of thing, would I have done things differently? And yes, I would. And Matt already mentioned it here with the fire maple pot. I think, again, Apple and Android type of thing, like Android just starts creeping up at a certain point and then undercuts them and does basically the same thing, only cheaper. Same thing with the Jetboil stuff, massively overpriced. When they first came out, everybody was like, whoa, you can't beat their boil times and everything. It was so quick. And now a lot of makers are kind of doing the same thing with their own version of the flux ring. So wouldn't buy any of their utensils, their pans or anything like that. Just way overpriced. I don't really get it. From that perspective. Now, I did say that I did end up buying a piece. I ended up getting the Jetboil set. Another thing that I hate about Jetboil is there's not a lot that you can kind of buy piecemeal. They sell systems, which like aggravates the hell out of me and annoys me to no end because it's like, what if you already have a stove that you like? What if you already have a pot that you like? Like I can't just get, that other piece that I don't have. I have to like invest in the whole system. That just kind of pisses me off. So I ended up getting the Jetboil stash because I got it from Jeremiah Stringer, who give a quick shout out to the Backpacking Podcast. He ended up getting one as like an early round, flyer for free. Jetboil gave out some to some YouTubers, and I was like, I don't think he really likes that pot. So I ended up reaching out to him and ended up getting it off of him at a good price. But other than that, like I don't think I would have ever picked it up. So yeah, Jetboil is my last one there. I don't think I'm going to hear anybody argue that one.
I love my Jetboil.
Yeah, I like my Jetboils.
I've got my Sumo. What's the one that I have with the regulator? Is it the Sumo?
The Micro-Mo?
Yeah, the Micro-Mo. Which I can Micro, Mini-Mo, one of those two.
Micro's the bigger pot, and the Mini-Mo is the smaller.
Okay, Mini-Mo. Like if I want to do some soup out there, ramen, I can just simmer. I love doing stuff like that. Or I'm looking over in the direction of it, and I still look at my unicorn over there. It was perfectly working.
You always used to take that thing all the time.
I'd still take it. It's a Jetboil Soul TI, the titanium one, and that thing way hardly. To me, it was the best stove, and to this day, that's my favorite stove I've ever used. If it wasn't broken, I'd still use it every day.
It lasted a while.
Yeah,
you had that thing for a long time,
8 years or so. So,
yeah, wow,
excellent. All right, I think that's going to round out the normal rounds. If anybody has any last minute ones that they want to throw in here, the floor is yours. No particular order, but if you have another one you want to toss in, let me know. Otherwise, we can slide on over to closing this one out.
I want to see what you think about this, Dave. Is the anything alpha material?
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna fight you on that one. Does anybody else have the material? I don't think Jared has it either.
I have my Lightheart gear that the wind just penetrates through.
Yeah, Huck hates his.
You have to have some sort of wind barrier though when you use one of those fleeces, right?
Yes, that's the big caveat with those is that if you're looking at them, it kind of just like it almost looks like it's see-through. It's like a big mesh. But it does well at insulating, but it doesn't do well against the wind. I know that sounds kind of weird. It's like it does end up trapping your body, but if you get any kind of wind coming through, it's going to slice like right through it. So it does work and it doesn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna toss in there any rooftop tent, like the.
There you go. That's me. I want to get rid of mine, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I would really enjoy them, but they,
you're right. The idea of them is they're cool, but I've had one for a couple years now, and I've used it on a number of trips. In fact, I just went to New Mexico for it was like 5 or 6 nights, slept in it, and by the time I got back from that thing, I'm 46 years old, getting in and out of that. I have a really old dog I'm lifting up in there. It just was like, I'm done. I need like a little trailer or something I want to go camping with. It's like it just, get in and out of real easily. So they seem cool, but I don't know. You got to be young or something. I'm old. I'm getting old.
Yeah. How does it do in the like the elements, Matt? Does it do well in like windstorms and stuff?
Yeah. When I was out in New Mexico, in fact, there was a couple huge thunderstorms that came through, and one of them lasted about 5 or 6 hours. And that night it started leaking a little bit, so that was worrying me. But other than that, I mean, it stays pretty warm. I have 2 dogs, so them in there with me. I'd never been cold in it. So, and I've taken it, in colder temperatures, and it got down in the 30s a couple months ago when I was up there in New Mexico. But it seems to hold up well. It's just that material. It's like that canvas type material that's used. So it's like there's I don't know exactly how the technology works, but it's supposedly it's like when it gets rained on a few times, it tightens up and it protects better.
The fibers expand and then when they dry up, they seal it all together. So that's
So being in Southern California, it's never seen any it's just seen light rain, but then out there it was like a massive downpours that were getting it, so it started leaking through. But that's what happened the next day when it rained again. It didn't leak.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree as far as like trying to get on top of especially like a truck or anything that's a little bit higher. Yeah, it's hard to just get up and down.
Yes,
no matter what age you are, I think it's even if you're a young bucks, like it's just not super convenient to do that.
It's not.
Okay,
I got one more.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a DJI Osmo Action 4 camera. Because I've got a GoPro, so I'm not gonna buy another one of those style cameras. But the Action 4, that thing's nice. It's got a lot of nice features, and if I was to ever go away from GoPro, that would be the camera I'd go with.
Nice.
I think I've seen, it might have been Devin that used it on a few trips now, and it puts out some nice quality.
Yeah, he did one video that was all about that camera, right? Where he recorded the whole thing with it. Yeah. Looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. I think that's also 5K as well. That's a nice one. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. DJI has another one of those, companies, great innovation, but they're a little bit steep on price. I guess my last one, if I had to throw one in here, guys, is going to be Hyperlight product. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Hyperlight. Going to be a never on that one. So, yeah, I don't really have a last one here. All right. A good spot to close this one out here. I mentioned all these guys, too. I want to give you a last-minute spotlight here if you want to do any kind of shout-outs or anything. I want to start with Jared here because he's going to be leaving, I think, tomorrow, right? And I don't know when this is going to be on the channel, but he's going to be heading out to the CT. So I'll let you go for that one.
Yeah. So it's a week from tomorrow. I'll be starting. So I'll be doing the Colorado Trail again it'll be my 3rd trip. What you're seeing behind me is from the Colorado Trail as well. What's different about this one is that I'm working with a nonprofit to make a film about it, where I'm going to hike the trail using only gear that was available 50 years ago when the trail was founded in 1974. Wow. So I've been scouring eBay, and I've got all sorts of really cool, it turns out that 1974, the early 70s, was a sort of boom day for innovation and backpack technology. So we're all hiking gear. Interestingly enough, just as a note, It's when trekking poles started being telescopic in 1974. Waistbands were not a thing on backpacks until the early 70s, which is wild to me. So there's some really cool things that I've kind of discovered as a part of this process. So I'll be heading out then next Sunday, though. I'm going to be doing a virtual launch party. So I'll give you a link, Dave, to hopefully put in the description. Basically, it's going to be a lot of giveaways, and I'm going to do like an unpacking of my sleeping bag and all this other gear and show off what I'm taking, and then do some giveaways of some of the different items. And so I believe we'll have bear vaults to give away. May have we've got some gift cards and some other items, some notebooks. I'll be giving, actually, Huck, you'll like this. I made this this notebook. I don't know if you can even see it. There we go. Kind of
put it in front of your face.
Yeah, so I'm giving away a couple of different notebooks that I made and some other stuff. So Dave was generous and made a contribution to the cause and got a ticket. So he was the first ticket holder for the giveaway or the event. So real excited about that. The other thing that I was going to mention, I sort of mentioned it earlier, and I just have to share this because it's the coolest thing. So Feathered Friends, I reached out to them, and they had been making sleeping bags since 1972. So I reached out to them and said, hey, look, would you be interested in putting together like a sleeping bag for me with your 1972 pattern? And they did. And so they made me a sleeping bag using the materials that they used in 74, the pattern they used in 1974. So it's like, it's really super wide. It's almost rectangular. They also made me a jacket doing the same. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so when I say like I'm forever a Feathered Friends person now, because they were really on board with doing this really fun idea and they ran with it. So I really love their stuff, and I'm excited to get to use their sleeping bag. And a couple other companies came on board and offered up some really cool stuff. There's one in Durango, Eco Everyday, who gave me some sunscreen and stuff. And Leaky sent me a pair of trekking poles, the telescopic ones. And so it's been a really fun project. I'm excited to share it with you all, and that'll start a week from Monday. So pretty excited about it. I have these heavy ass boots that I'm gonna wear that are these Eddie Bauer K6s. They feel like I'm wearing like bricks on my feet. It's crazy. Yeah, so a little bit of waffle stompers. And but anyway, I'm really excited about it. I hope everybody will sort of follow along with the project and stop in for that virtual launch party where I show off all the gear. And hopefully I don't die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent. Really looking forward to that project. I'm going to throw all the details in the description down below for you guys to check out. And you're also putting the pressure on me to release this one early, so you definitely bump this up in the release schedule.
You can just say that if it's all right. You don't have to do that. But we can.
No, I think it'll be good because I know you're doing a big launch party, so I'm gonna try to get that in before you end up doing that live stream. So that'll be good. Awesome. And Huck, you're going on a big trip pretty soon as well, right?
Nothing like the Colorado Trail, but I'll be heading out to Olympic National Park. We're doing 5 days, 4 nights along the coast, north coast of Olympic National Park. So you start what's called Shishi Beach, and we're just taking our time, heading up and hitting like Seafield Creek, Camp Alavila. Can't remember the other camp down below, but you end up by Lake Azette, and then get to check out the rest of Olympic National Park for 2 days as well. And if I'm really lucky, I'm crossing my fingers. It's a tough one, but I'll get to finally catch a Mariners game. I'm a lifelong Seattle Mariners fan, so maybe if I'm lucky Sunday evening, I might be able to catch a Mariners game.
You have to talk the other two into it, right?
Yes. If not, Seattle is an amazing place. I've always wanted to go there and travel. Lots of great food up there, lots of great seafood. I was telling Matt about this the other night. There's a thing called, I think it's Gooey Duck. Do you know what?
Gooey Duck. Yeah,
look it up. That's one of those things. Pacific Northwest. It's a giant clam that everybody eats up there.
They're they look like. I mean, I don't want to tell you what they look like. You slice them thin. Let me say that. Yeah, but it's called geoduck, but they pronounce it gooey duck, and it's supposed to be delicious, especially if you pound it to where it's like nice and not too chewy. Yeah.
It's supposed to be one of the best clams you can get. So I've been asked, "Hey, you want to try?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll try anything once."
There you go.
Even in the Wind River Range, I was going to try Rocky Mountain oysters, but the restaurant was out. So I'm down to try anything once as
Ooh.
far as food goes. Yeah.
Nice one.
But yeah,
That
Olympic
might be
National
pushing
Park.
it too. Yeah, that hike is that the hike where you have to like time it with the tide so that you can like cross
So
the
there's
sort of
two
ladders
spots.
and stuff.
No, so that's further up.
Mm.
There's that is the West Coast Trail. I tried to get permits for. That's actually up in was that in Vancouver, above Vancouver, in British Columbia. That one's got ladders. It's got like the trams you go across over the river on.
Mhm.
This one does have like it's more ropes. You have to go around a couple areas that when there's high tide, you have to climb the ropes up. And there's one river we have to cross, is that river, and you have to do it at low tide. If you do it at high tide, you're up to
That's
probably mid chest. If you're at low tide, it's maybe a foot deep. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is you keep talking up this Olympic trip and like maybe going to Mariners, but we all know that you're heading straight to Forks to do the Twilight Tour
Yeah.
up there in Forks, Washington.
No.
You're going to be checking it out.
Not this time. Not this time.
Only to find out that they didn't really shoot anything up there.
Right.
Excellent content. Be on the lookout for that stuff on those guys' channels. Matt, you got anything planned for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I just actually pulled the permit for it today, but in 2 weeks, on August 15th through that entire weekend, I'm going solo backpacking the Eastern Sierra. So doing the 20 Lake Basin. The story behind this area is, and Huck's been to this area numerous times, is about in 2003, I did my first backpacking trip in that area. We started at Saddlebag Lake and then went up and over the ridges and into Yosemite National Park. So I try to make my way back there every year, but this year I'm going to go for 3 nights, 4 days and into the basin there and stay the night at a number of the lakes and do some trout fishing and just have some alone time out there. So looking forward to that. So that's in 2 weeks here. Just got the permit and ordered some food last night off of Garage Gun Gear and just looking forward to it. So, and then I'm sure there'll be other things that come up throughout the year. Usually overnighters are kind of planned within like the week or the week of or a couple weeks out. So, but this will be the bigger trip.
Awesome. Sounds great. I don't really have anything planned, so if anybody wants to do something, hit me up.
Hey, I did get 2 on the permit if you want to go.
Oh, man. Don't give me the details. We'll save that.
All right.
I do have a busy September coming up and not a lot going on in August here. All right, some social love here to round it out for Matt here. He's on YouTube at Lead Me Outdoors and then on Instagram at I'm_done. That's a really cool name, by the way. And then, Jared over at Outside Comfort Zone here on YouTube and then Backcountry Champion over on Instagram. And then Huck is the same. He's the one who's like not confusing here. He's got Huck Outdoors on pretty much everything. So you can't really mess that one up. Really good stuff. All right. Had a really fun time with this one, guys. Thanks so much for joining me this week, as always. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you later.
Thank you.
See you.
Absolutely.